In a land kissed by the beauty of creation, the Garden of Eden shimmered in a harmonious dance of nature and divinity. Adam and Eve were cradled by God's love, living a life free from hardship and sin. Among the flourishing flora and fauna was a tree of the knowledge of good and evil, a striking entity placed by God as a symbol of choice and obedience. One fateful day, a serpent slithered through the verdant grasses of the garden. Unlike any other creature, this serpent was cunning and malevolent, a stark contrast to the purity of Eden. Spotting Eve alone, the serpent coiled around the lower branches of a tree, its eyes flickering with a calculated glint. "Ah, the lady of the garden," it hissed. "Tell me, has God truly restricted you from feasting upon the fruits of this paradise?" Eve looked at the serpent, cautious but curious. "We are free to eat from any tree," she replied, "except for the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. God has warned us that touching it or consuming its fruit will lead to death." The serpent uncoiled and descended gracefully, landing softly on the grass below. "Oh, you misunderstand, my dear. God knows that if you eat the fruit, you will become like Him, enlightened in the ways of good and evil." Doubt seated itself in Eve's heart. She gazed at the tree, captivated by its alluring fruit and the promise of wisdom. With trembling hands, she plucked the fruit and took a hesitant bite. A wave of newfound perception rushed over her. Realization dawning, she offered the fruit to Adam, who was nearby. He too consumed it, and their eyes were opened. They now understood their vulnerability, their nakedness. Seized by shame, Adam and Eve crafted garments of fig leaves to cover themselves. That evening, they heard the divine footsteps of the Lord God, who was taking his customary walk in the cool of the day. Hiding among the trees, their hearts pounded with guilt. God's voice echoed through the garden. "Adam, where are you?" Adam emerged cautiously, his eyes unable to meet God's. "I hid because I was ashamed of my nakedness." God, all-knowing, responded, "Who told you that you were naked? Have you disobeyed me by eating from the tree?" The blame was quickly passed, Adam to Eve and Eve to the serpent, but accountability was inescapable. To the serpent, God declared a life of humiliation and conflict, to crawl on its belly, estranged from the woman and her descendants. To Eve, he predicted pain in childbirth and a complicated relationship with her husband. To Adam, God foretold a life of arduous labor, the soil resistant and unforgiving, until the day he would return to the dust from which he was created. Though they were banished from Eden, clothed now in tunics of skin made by God's own hand, Adam and Eve were not forgotten. God's love was constant, even as he grieved their choices. To safeguard the tree of life, God placed cherubim and a flaming sword at the east of the garden. Humanity had tasted the bitter fruit of disobedience, but the story was not over. It was a prologue to a tale of redemption, of a promise that the seed of the woman would one day bruise the serpent's head. And so, Adam and Eve ventured into the world beyond Eden, forever changed but never abandoned, their lives a tapestry of free will, consequence, and divine love.